Every night we tell you about stories of shootings or accidents that wind up with a person headed to the emergency room. But that is really where the next chapter just begins, and where our Randy Escamilla picks up the story with unrestricted access to the busiest emergency room in the city.
University Hospital has San Antonio's busiest emergency room. Roughly 70,000 people came through here last year. That's about 8 patients an hour. And we were the first news crew to meet with the most critically ill patients, people whose only hope came from this emergency room. When you hear the roar of Airlife helicopters landing and taking off, consider it the sound of life. In this mission, flight nurses bring in a man in his 20s who just fell down a flight of stairs. The patient is responsive and talking, and the night in the ER is just beginning.
We're just getting prepared. We have another patient coming in, a 2-year-old. We're notified through our Medcom system of whatever incoming patients we have.
Down the hall, an ambulance brought in this man in his 60s. He has no identification and appears to be having a massive heart attack. Making matters worse, doctors tell me his lungs are rapidly filling up with fluid, so they have to act fast.
We've got about 20 minutes here, because this is what failure looks like in terms of a respiratory failure, right?
The man is one of hundreds doctors will treat in this emergency room tonight. Because this is a teaching hospital,
yeah, what do we call these kind of strokes?
The place is staffed with hundreds of doctors.
We don't want to send home the ones that are going to die on us, though, right?
The University Hospital emergency room is huge.
Our doors don't close. If our PACU is open and our ICUs are open, our OR is free, then the doors stay open and we get whatever comes. So pretty much from here to the border, we're like the one-stop shop.
Back in the trauma center, doctors treat a 6-year-old girl flown in after her condition took a turn for the worse. Doctors here know that an emergency room experience is something people will always remember.
Whether your kid had some stitches that they needed sewing up, or someone broke an arm, or a grandfather had a heart attack, something like that. Those moments are just so precious, and we meet those people at their very, deepest moments of desperation.
During an emergency, seconds can seem like an eternity.
Down with your feet.
Life for patients truly hangs in the balance. No one in the emergency room stands idle for long. Back in the trauma center, a team cares for an 85-year-old man. He tripped and landed face first into a pile of sharp rocks. And remember the man having a heart attack? Because he had nothing on him, doctors had to make split-second decisions.
You have very little data, very little information, and very little time to make critical decisions.
Doctors see the man's conditioning worsen and place him in a medically induced coma.
So he's going to make it through the night?
Yes, yeah, and we'll admit him to the hospital, put him in the intensive care unit, but that is part of the story here. A lot of times our sickest patients, we take care of them, we help the family, but they don't wake up here.
If you've ever been to the emergency room, it's a trip you'll always remember. And while doctors, nurses, and technicians tell me they cannot save every life, if you're ever brought here, they'll give you the best medical care. At University Hospital, I'm Randy Escamilla, News 4 San Antonio.
Well, as you just saw there, the ER